Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna 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 Hare Ram Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Ram Ram Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare 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 Ram
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णवंत की जय। श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। Please forgive me to stop you from the ecstatic chanting. Today's quote on chanting by Srila Prabhupada. If we sincerely want to improve our japa, Krishna will show us when to chant like in early morning and where to chant so we are not distracted, and how to chant with full attention. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. I am Pooja from Sydney. May I know who I am joined today?
Hare Krishna, Puja Mataji and all the devotees, Dandavat Pranam, Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Guru Maharaj ki Jai. This is Shamira Sikha Divadasi from Germantown, Maryland.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Thank you so much for joining the call. Hare Krishna devotees, Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Today we are so fortunate to have His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhuji. And Prabhuji will enlighten us on Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16, verse 57 onwards. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Please take over the call.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat. It's always a pleasure to be in the assembly of devotees to discuss, Krishna Katha. So we will chant invocation prayers and then start our discussions. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. So we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 16. We will read two verses today, text number 57 and 58. I will read the shloka, translation and purport for both of them, and then we can go over the reflections. Text 57. Yadetat vismritam pumso madbhavam vinnamatmana tata samsaraye tasya dehad deho mriter mritihi. Translation. When a living entity, thinking himself different from me, forgets his spiritual identity of qualitative oneness with me in eternity, knowledge, and bliss, his material, conditional life begins. In other words, instead of identifying his interest with mine, he becomes interested in his bodily expansions, like his wife, children, and material possessions. In this way, by the influence of his actions, one body comes from another, and after one death, another death takes place. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Generally, the Mayavadi philosophers or persons influenced by Mayavadi philosophers think themselves as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the cause of their conditional life. As stated by the Vaishnava poet Jagadananda Pandit in this Prema Vivarta, Krishna Bahirmukha Bhoga Vanchakare Nikatastha Maya Tare Japatiya Dhare. As soon as a living entity forgets his constitutional position and endeavors to become one with the Supreme, his conditional life begins. The conception that the Supreme Brahman and the living entity are equal not only in quality but also in quantity is the cause of conditional life. If one forgets the difference between the Supreme Lord and the living entity, his conditional life begins. Conditional life means giving up one body to accept another and undergoing death to accept death again. The Mayavadi philosopher teaches us the philosophy of Tattvamasi, saying, "You are the same as God." He forgets that Tattvamasi applies in terms of the marginal position of the living entity who is like a sunshine. There is heat and light in the sun, and there is heat and light in the sunshine, and thus they are qualitatively one. But one should not forget that the sunshine rests on the sun. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahmano hi pratishtaham, I am the original source of Brahman. The sunshine is important because of the presence of the sun globe. It is not that the sun globe is important because of the all-pervasiveness of the sunshine. Forgetfulness and misunderstanding of this fact is called Maya. Because of forgetfulness of one's constitutional position and that of the Supreme Lord, one comes into Maya or samsara, conditional life. In this regard, Madhvacharya says, Sarva Binnam Paratmanam Vismaran Samsaretiha Abhinna Samsmaran Yati Tamo Nasti Tatra Samshayaha. When one thinks that the living entity is non-different in all aspects from the Supreme Lord, there is no doubt that he is in ignorance. Tamaha. Text 58. Labdveha manushim yonim jnana vijnana sambhavam atmanam yona buddhyeta nakvachit kshemamapnuyat. Translation. A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through the Vedic literature and its practical application. This is possible, especially for a human being born in India, the land of piety. A man who attains birth in such a convenient position but does not understand his self is unable to achieve the highest perfection, even if he is exalted to life in the higher planetary system. Purport. This statement is confirmed in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 9.41. Lord Chaitanya said, Bharata Bhumite Haila Manushya Janmayar Janma Sarthaka Kari Kara Paropakar. Everyone born in India, especially as a human being, can achieve the supreme success through the Vedic literature and its practical application in life. When one is perfect, he can render service for the self-realization of the entire human society. This is the best way to perform humanitarian work. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakayam Chakshurum Militam Yenam Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Namam Vishnu Padayam Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we are very fortunate to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam, and all of us, according to the Supreme Lord, as Prabhupada translates here, all of us were human beings born in the land of piety. And Prabhupada has translated it as the holy land of India, are all the more fortunate. And those who are considered furthermore fortunate, that being the human being in the land of piety, you are swinging towards self-realization with the help of Vedic literature and practical application. We can be considered a blessed soul. So there are so many wonderful opportunities for human being to somehow or other exit the cycle of birth and death. The two verses that we read today, they are continuation of Lord Sankarshana's responses to Chitraketu's glorification of the Supreme Lord. Chitraketu, after invoking the Narayana mantra given by Narada Muni, he is now in a very ecstatic state to be seeing the Lord face to face. And these glorifications that he chanted has definitely touched the Lord's heart, and the Lord is reciprocating. So these two verses, we are going to have some lessons to learn. But one very important, point is the purport of Srila Prabhupada and the translation of Srila Prabhupada. In the verse number 58, according to the shloka, there is no place it is mentioned as Bharata Varsha. If you read the word by word translation, that's where you understand how Srila Prabhupada is introducing Bharata Varsha to this context. Labdveha manushim yonim. Labdva iha. So, iha meaning in this material world. And Srila Prabhupada says, especially in this pious land of Bharatavarsha. This is the contribution of Srila Prabhupada. If we are not having Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purports, we would be only having an intellectual, scholarly treatise. But by the way Srila Prabhupada's translating, we are able to get the juice of this Vedic scripture. The juice of this Vedic scripture, the rasa of this Vedic scripture, the fruit of this Vedic scripture is Bhaktivedanta Swami purport. So, if just by hearing the Supreme Lord's narration, one may not be able to immediately, especially those who are in the conditioned state of life, may not be able to correlate what the Supreme Lord is saying for one's own personal spiritual growth. But after hearing and reading Srila Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, we are able to churn this particular shloka through multiple reflections. And I'm sure as much as our sincerity and seriousness in devotional life, we will be able to get the reflections more and more and deeper and deeper. So within our limited time and within my limited understanding, I shall try to share a few reflections from this current context. So these two verses, from them we will learn minimum 3 reflections. If time permits, we will have some more. But let's start with one. A human being can attain perfection in life by self-realization through the Vedic literature and its practical application. So the sutra, the underlying fact which establishes a person to the devotional journey, is his association with Shastra and Seva. Shastra and Seva happens to be two important impetus, two important, components with which one's life is, turning towards eternity. If a person is doing service without Shastra Chakshu, then he will be only doing superficial service. If one is having Shastra Chakshu but not engaging in practical application, then he is a dry scholar, won't be able to continue for a long time. So hence Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan movement is a perfect combination of Shastra and Seva. And the Shastra and Seva are enabled with our sadhana and sangha. And what is the final outcome? The final outcome is sadachara. So there are 5 yes. Shastra, which is our mother. Seva, which is as a children our duty towards our mother. happens to shape our devotional life, but the breathing and the food for our existence comes from sadhana and sangha, and the final fruit, the result, the achievement is our swabhava, our attitude, our consciousness changes. So my first reflection is the reflection of the 5 yes that we just listed. Shastra, according to Rupa Goswami, Shruti Smriti Puranadim Pancharatrim Vidim Vina Aikantikir Hare Bhakti Utpada Eva Kalpate. He says that Shruti Smriti Puranadi. He says Shastra is our fundamental directive. Aikantikir Harer Bhaktir Utpada Eva Kalpate. So anyone who takes shelter of these Shastras, because Shastras are like our mother, Krishna is our father. So long as Krishna was existing, that much time Vedas were existing. Because it is Apa Urushaya. Purushaya means Purusha, means human. Purushaya means that which is created by human. Apa Urushaya means that which is not created by human. So Vedas are called Apa Urushaya because no human has created them. Some human being, divine human being, have come and classified them, represented them, explained them, but the original form of the Vedas, the divine knowledge, they were eternally existing as much as Krishna was eternally existing. So Vedas as a mother, Vedic knowledge as given by Krishna's divine children, Krishna's divine representatives, and in some cases Krishna himself, in case of Bhagavad Gita. So this Divya Jnana, this knowledge, and along with this Divya Jnana, there is something called as the Vijnana. Jnana means knowledge. Vijnana means applied knowledge. Science, applied science. Physics, applied physics. Commerce, applied commerce. There's a difference of what you know as a theory vis-a-vis what you know as application. What is the difference? The difference is application varies according to the person who is performing the application. The process is same. The operation to be performed on an engineer, or operation is to be performed on a patient, or operation to be performed on a particular object. The process wise, the standard operating procedure wise, it may be same. But where a person is performing, he will be given some customized instructions because it depends upon his experiences, depends upon how and whom and what point in time and various other factors, certain instructions will vary. So the idea here is, in our Krishna conscious journey, the Supreme Lord is saying, so long as one does not take shelter of Shastra, one does not take shelter of Seva, how can a perfection be expected? Even though the person may be in the heavenly planetary systems, even though the person may be situated in higher planetary systems. So this is directly, targeting not only human beings, anyone above human beings also. Because anyone below human beings, the universal rule for them is different. The word karma is not applicable to anyone who is less than human. All the other species apart from human and above, the lower species, their evolution cycle is preset. Their next evolution from this body to next body, next body to the next body, next body to that next body, they are all preset, pre-programmed, pre-arranged. But only when it's human form of life and the form of life in the higher planetary systems, up till the Swarga Loka, Brahma Loka, Abrahma Stamba Paryantam Sarvam Maya Mayam Jagat Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam Harer Nameva Kevalam Abrahma Stamba Paryantam. Right from Brahma to a most insignificant creature. Sarvam Maya Mayam Jagat. In the previous verse, Prabhupada is defining the word Maya in a very interesting way. Who is in Maya? How he is in Maya? We'll come there. Sarvam Maya Mayam Jagat. Then what is Satyam? Satyam Satyam Punah Satyam. I promise, I repeatedly promise. Harer Namaiva Kevalam. Holy name is the only shelter. So the message here is, it is not who you are. It is not just alone to know that who you are. It is also to know how you have conducted yourself. So my first reflection, to conclude them, as human beings, as a responsible and apparently intelligent one, we need to learn to conduct ourselves. And the principle is, I learn to conduct as per the directive of Shastras and perform seva. And for doing these two things in a much organized and regulated manner, one need sadhana and sangha. And the final outcome of this is one's own character, one's own swabhava, consciousness and attitude will get purified. A person with right attitude is called Goswami. According to Srila Prabhupada, in the introduction to, in the preface Nectar of Instruction, Prabhupada says, the purpose of this Krishna consciousness movement is to purify the attitude of its followers. So today we are struggling not just because of the action alone. These actions are driven by our internal attitude. So it is the Supreme Lord's mandate, Supreme Lord's direction, Supreme Lord's instruction that one need to learn to take advantage of Vedic literature and its practical application. In Bhagavad Gita also he confirms that Susukam Kartum Avyayam. This is secret. The knowledge that he is imparting, that such information that he is telling, is classified as Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Transcendentally secret. Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam. Pavitram Idam Uttamam. This is pure. This is superlative. Pratyaksha Vagamam Dharmyam Susukam Kartumavayam. So everyone can practically realize this, see this, enjoy this in one's own practicing life. So with that, we will conclude our first reflection. The second reflection in this current context is about the activities of a person, as Prabhupada explains in the purport of text 58, where he quotes Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Bharata Bhumite Haila Manushya Janmaya Janma Sartaka Kari Karo Paropakar. He says the practical application. When we talk about practical application, so we don't understand what is this practical application all about. Is it about practically doing service for my own purification alone or anything else? So to that, there are two verses which are very profound in this context. I would encourage strongly that all the readers, to all the students or participants, to please read this purports of Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela, chapter 9, text 41 and 42. I'm not going to read the entire purport, but the second reflection is based on the fact that when I have Nameruchi, when I have done Vaishnava Seva based on my surrender to the directives of Vedic literature, one obvious thing is I will have Jive Daya. So, as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu constantly says, Nameruchi, Jive Daya, Vaishnava Seva. In our first reflection, we spoke about 5 S's: Shastra, Seva, Sadhana, Sangha, and Sadachara. And now, with respect to that, a person who only does Seva as a duty, only does Seva for one's own purification, only as a performing Seva as a formality, is not very highly glorified. A Seva is supposed to be executed as a Seva done by a soldier, a missionary spirit, a person committed himself for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his Guru Maharaj. So the second reflection here is that how this knowledge that we acquire, the lifestyle that one changes, the principles one adhere to according to Vedic literature, is not only meant for one's own life's transformation, it is also meant for para upakara. It is supposed to be meant for welfare of all the living entities. So, when we are practicing Krishna consciousness, it is not only Krishna consciousness for ourselves, it is about the Krishna consciousness and devotional life for all our fellow brothers and sisters. As Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, we are responsible to extend our help and support to all our near and dear ones. So Srila Prabhupada repeatedly says, Para Upakara. Para Upakara means helping others for the benefit of others. In verse number 42 of 9th chapter Adi Leela, this Para Upakara is further explained in 2 words. Etavat Janma Sapalyam Dehinam Iha Dehishu Pranair Artair Diya Vacha Shreyat Acharanam Sada. So, in the verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, which is actually a verse from Srimad Bhagvatam, this particular shloka, Etavat Janma Sapalyam, is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto. This verse is actually spoken by the Supreme Lord to the gopis in the bank, on the banks of river Yamuna. So, Prabhupada explains that this Paraupakara that we are saying, what is this Paraupakara meaning? This Paraupakara is about doing activities as ultimately beneficial. If it is not ultimately beneficial, which is called Shreyas, people will be only working on activities which are temporarily beneficial, which is called prayers. So Prabhupada says this Paraupakara or doing activities that are ultimately beneficial, which means performing activities that are practical application. It means preaching the holy name of the Lord, serving the larger masses, and winning them to the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. It is not that we got Krishna consciousness, we escaped. We got Krishna consciousness, that we are safe and we got rescued somehow. Sincere soul is the one who not only rescues himself, he will rescue all the other suffering souls. Of course, the primary goal is to make sure that we are rescued. Then only we can help others. But at least the mindset is that para-upakar, Shreyas, performing activities that are ultimately beneficial for everyone. So in our journey in Krishna consciousness, the perfection of our devotional life does not end only when we become devotees. It is good stage, it is appreciated, it is something that is needed. But the highest perfection is that along with us, we go and help the suffering souls. Jeev Jago, Gaura Chanta Bole. Last class I was referring this song. How that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is calling out and says that I am the one who have come to help you all, to safeguard yourself from the lap of which Maya. So please take advantage of my Sankirtan mission. Enechi Aushadi Maya Nasi Bara Lagi Hari Nama Maha Mantra Lao Tumi Magi. So I have given a medicine, I have brought the medicine which I am distributing profusely. Take advantage of this medicine and try to help yourself getting cured from this disease of being inflicted by Maya. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Sankirtan missions, one of the goal is to make sure that we not only perform acharana, we also perform prachara. That is why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas, all the contemporary, Vaishnavas, you will see them, they have dedicated their life to spread the holy name. They take extra endeavor, they take extra pain, they go out of the way to give Krishna consciousness to one and all and try to win them. Yesterday evening, we had a good fortune of having His Holiness Indradumna Swami Maharaj in our yatra. And Maharaj was explaining about the pastimes of Lord Rama. Yesterday we had a glorious celebrations in India. So when I was reading this verse where the Supreme Lord is saying that anyone who is born in the land of piety, anyone who is born in the land of Bharata Bhumi, so then we are very much blessed. So the blessings of being in India, we perceived it yesterday, where the glorious Lord Rama's temple in his the place of appearance in its Yoga Peeth was installed, and very grand celebrations have been done. So there are so many things can be said, but one of the important things that needs to be understood here is that this is para upakar. Why there is a movement of 500 years, people were working. I mean, there are political agendas, there are people who may have dharmic agenda, there may be people who have interest in being to gain punya. Those are all some frill elements, but there is somebody who really genuinely wanted to glorify Lord Rama, worship Lord Rama, celebrate Lord Rama in his place of appearance, so that all of us, the whole society, the whole civilization, the whole country, the whole world take advantage of the Lord Rama's glorious appearance. So this 500 years of parishrama is actually para upakar. It is Shreyas. It is activity that which is ultimately beneficial. What was destroyed by miscreants, what was destroyed by people with notorious interest. This is what a sadhu means. A sadhu means one who is persistent, one who perseveres if it is for the pleasure of the Lord. He does not waste a single minute of his time if it is not for the glories of the Supreme Lord. A person who is advanced doesn't want to waste a single moment if that is not in the connection with the Supreme Lord. So my second reflection here is that this paraupakar, or taking advantage of being born in such a convenient, as Prabhupada explains in the translation, a man who attains birth in such a convenient position. Why convenient? Because it is easily accessible, easily available. Extra endeavor is not required. Naturally coming to us. One of our seniors used to say this: those who stay near the railway station always miss the train. So this is the tendency of people who takes undue advantage of their being familiar to this process. So that is exactly the last statement of this translation. He says, a man who obtains birth in such a convenient position but does not understand his self is unable to achieve. So you may be living very close to the railway station, but if you do not understand the seriousness of you reaching the station on time, you will always miss the train. So this is a Chetavani, warning for people who are born in Bharata Bhumi or who born in the land of piety. Or it is also an appreciation, or this is also a kind of a glorification or acknowledgement for people who are born in Bharat Bhumi, saying that, hey guys, watch out. You are in a very convenient position. Please take advantage of them. So those who are taking advantage of them, we see how glorious their life is. So ISKCON has set up a fantastic tent in Ayodhya called Sita Rasoi. Rasoi means kitchen. And they are feeding thousands of devotees every day. Thousands of devotees are, as of now, there is a gathering of mass gathering of at least 2.5 to 3 lakhs people today only, just the day after the Prana Pratishtha in Ayodhya. Up till this point in time, according to the news just few minutes before, 2.5 lakhs is 25 million. 2.5 million people. So it is very much to be understood that it's not an easy task, but devotees are extending themselves and offering services. So Paropakar. I just want to share a small pastime here from Ramayana, because still we are our Ram Lala's glories are never going to be satiated, and as much as we speak, we get more and more elated. So what happened was, the Supreme Lord had killed Ravana, and Mother Sita was brought, and Mother Sita had a union with Lord Rama after being separated from Lord Rama for a very long time. So Lord Rama was offered a Vimana by Vibhishana, saying that, my dear Lord, you have already spent a lot of time walking around the last 14 years. Now your period of 14 years is getting over. Please go back. You take my Vimana and go back to Ayodhya. So Lord Rama by then already has installed Vibhishna as the Raja of Sri Lanka after Ravana was killed. So Vibhishna's coronation was done, and Lord Rama and Sita and all the assembled members requested Vibhishna to also accompany Lord Ram to Ayodhya for being part of the coronation. So Vibhishna said that this Vimana is a very special Vimana. It's a special airplane. It can accommodate as many people as the owner or the person who is in charge of it wishes to accommodate. This is a very dynamic Vimana. The size and shape and accommodation is scalable. No such technology is available now. So the pre technology era had more technology than the technology era. So Lord Ram, Lakshmana, Mother Sita, Vibhishna, Sugriva, Hanuman, everybody boarded. And Lord Ram said, I'll be very happy to have the entire Vanar Sena in our celebrations. So all the Vanaras, they were so happy. They jumped into the airplane. And Sugriva was slightly upset. So Rama asked, why are you upset, Sugriva? So said, my dear Lord, you made a promise that not even one Vanara will be spared in our endeavor to rescue Mother Sita. But you see, there are so many monkeys are dead and wounded. So thinking about them, I feel very sad. Lord Rama said, please take me to that place where they are lying down. So by the divine glance of Lord Ram, all the monkeys who were killed in the war, they woke up as if they were in a deep slumber, and all of their wound because of that fight, they were all cured. So immediately Sugriva was very happy. He jumped and everybody now boarded the airplane. So they had a happy, fun-filled time. So happy, so jubilant. Everybody is going to go back. Lord Rama is showing as the Vimana was crossing from Sri Lanka and crossing over Rameshwaram, and Lord Rama was showing Mother Sita the place they had a camp and the bridge these Vanaras constructed, and so many other wonderful scenes that that he had been through. Of course, he was missing Mother Sita, but at least he was pointing out to those places. So Mother Sita, after being in the company of Lord Ram, she was in her ecstatic self. So she was enjoying. And Lord Ram was explaining how these Vanaras had helped him in the entire search operation. So immediately Mother Sita made a request. So Mother Sita's request was that, my dear Swami, that you say that all these Vanaras have helped you in this search. I'm sure all these Vanaras must have been with you for the last several months. Can you think of the wives and children of these Vanaras? They had not met their husbands for such a long time. So it is not just these Vanaras who helped you. Those wives and children and other family members who lived in separation from their beloved are also equally contributed in this search. So I wish these Vanaras' wives and children and family members be also taken to Ayodhya as a gesture of showing our gratitude for them. This is what motherliness is. This is what Mother Sita is. What nobody could think of, Mother Sita thought and expressed her sincere gratitude. Lord Ram was so happy, and so were all the Vanaras. So the flight was taken to Kishkinda, where because on the way back to Sri Lanka, they have to go via Kishkinda and then only go to Ayodhya. Na? So the flight directly landed to Kishkinda. So all the female monkeys, their children, they were all dressed up and so happy, so much jubilant. They were all jumping up and down, Jai Shri Ram, roaring, and they finally boarded the airplane. Just imagine, hundreds and thousands of monkeys along with their family members, children, and their leaders. Oh my God, what a scene it would have been. So Lord Ram was enjoying this happy moment. And finally, once again, the flight took off from Kishkinda, and Lord Ram told that let the flight not go to Ayodhya, but rather go to Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram. So if you all remember, if you all know, when Lord Ram started his Vanavas 14 years before, technically from Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram, which is in the outskirts of Ayodhya. So there was a reason for that. So Lord Ram landed along with the entire entourage in Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram, and the monkeys were let loose, saying that go and have fun. Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram is in the near the coastal region where there were mountains and stuff like that. So these monkeys, they had their blast. They had a party, celebrations party. So they were all jumping and plucking fruits, jumping between trees, and they were having a royal treatment. And Bharadwaja Rishi had a very royal welcome to Lord Ram, Mother Sita, Lakshmana, and all the Vanara leaders. So Lord Rama called Hanuman. He said, my dear Hanuman, it was Bharata who took charge after my leaving for the Vanavas. But Bharata Maharaj did say that he will be waiting for me, and he will be not even one extra day live if I get delayed. That was the statement he told. But I wanted to understand what is the current status in Ayodhya. For some reason, if Bharat Maharaj is now very happily ruling, enjoying his kingdom, made his empire his own, then probably I would not even bother him. I would continue to live this life differently. Can you just go to Ayodhya in disguise and try to find out what is the status quo there? So every time when any complicated, unique, apparently impossible services have to be done, Rama used to turn to only very few people. Hanuman and Lakshmana are two of the chosen ones. Lakshmana had also been given what we call as an impossible tasks. And at the end of the Leela, Lakshmana says, this is the last time I'm becoming your younger brother. I will never be able to become your younger brother because it's such a big austerity. What you are putting me through is not something that I can manage. That is why he became elder brother in Krishna's pastime. And all the time he chose that I will at least become an elder brother, and at least I will be able to, see you getting controlled. At least I will be able to, express my authority. Not that I will be succumb to your authority or, serve your authority and see you going through so much of pain. So Hanuman was chosen this service because of his being a independent, thoughtful, intelligent Vaishnava devotee. So Hanuman went in disguise into Ayodhya to find out what was going on. So Ayodhya was completely gloomy. Ayodhya was completely in a state where as if there is an absolute mourning going on. Everybody is very distraught state. So he went to Bharat Maharaj's place and he saw a huge preparation was going on. So when he asked, he found out that Bharat Maharaj was preparing for setting himself in fire. Because Bharat Maharaj said, as soon as 14 years are over, I will not even wait for one extra day. I will kill myself. So the 14th year was getting over just the previous day, where they reached. So the next day, if Rama was not going to appear, because Bharat Maharaj did not get any news, any update. So he wasn't sure where Lord Rama is. I mean, those days, there had been better technology, but maybe out of Leela, Lord did not communicate what was going on. So they finally, he decided to kill himself. And at that time, Hanuman went in disguise as a Brahmana and tried to speak to, Bharat Maharaj. When he saw Bharat Maharaj and his state of mind, Hanuman realized what a great personality is Bharat Maharaj. That is the beauty of Krishna consciousness. Each devotee, when they see each other, their emotions, love, appreciation for devotional service, for the love the devotees have for the Supreme Lord, and all those things increases. There is no animosity, there is no enviousness, there is no competition, there is no challenging. They were all complimenting, and Hanuman was so overwhelmed. So he had to say that, please don't do this. Lord Ram has arrived. So the news of Lord Ram arrived to Bharat Maharaj, sounded music to Bharat Maharaj. Yes, he said that, what the heck are you talking about? Who are you? I have not heard any updates. There is no news about it. I guess my brother is totally upset with all of us. We are also unfortunately started blabbering. So then Hanuman revealed his true identity and said that Lord Ram has arrived. He is waiting for, my updates from Ayodhya. He is waiting in Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram. And Hanuman started to slowly tell about how this whole events have happened. So technically, then and there, in the middle of the night or the late evening, Hanuman and Bharat Maharaj were discussing about Lord Rama's glories. So they were discussing about practically the entire Ramayana from the time Bharat Maharaj brought the Paduka of Lord Rama and Rama went into the Dandakaranya forest till the time he came back to Bharadwaja Rishi's ashram. The entire pastimes were narrated by Hanuman, and whole night they were having glorious descriptions about Ramayana. So then Bharat Maharaj said, when will Ram come? Please let us hurry up, let us bring him. And the message was sent to Lord Rama, and Lord Rama started entering to Ayodhya. And in the meanwhile, Bharat Maharaj circulated the news to the entire city. So the reason I'm narrating this entire pastime is what happened yesterday in Ayodhya is somewhat similar to the scene. So Lord Rama was, banished to forest for 14 long years. And eventually, after 14 long years of separation, the entire Ayodhya was prepared to receive Lord Rama. And the whole mood was of somebody who was in coma stage, brought back to consciousness, full, active state. That is the feeling of everyone in Ayodhya was. So in India, I'm sure all the servants of followers of Lord Rama around the world, they felt that yesterday when after 500 long years, 500 years is not just a small, it's like a, the 500 plus long years, Lord Rama his temple, his place of worship, his house was destroyed, and he was living in some sort of a makeshift altar and this place and that place in a very humiliated arrangement. So yesterday, with the help and endeavor of several thousands of people, with so many people's sacrifice, with so many people's dedication, so many people's contribution, so many people's devotion, Lord Rama entered Ayodhya. And the celebration was none other than the celebration of Deepavali. Deepavali is nothing but the day when Lord Rama was entering Ayodhya. The whole city, the whole place. There's a beautiful description in Valmiki Ramayana how the entire Ayodhya was decorated, how every house had got auspicious symbols, how every house, everybody felt, everybody wore new dress, everybody had decorated, repainted, the roads were made, the platoons was set up, toran banaya hai, rangolis were made, sweets were made, such a fantastic festivity. So the reason this is connected to this context is about the second reflection which we have been still dwelling on is about Parupakara. What is Parupakara? That sincere souls who worked hard, who had dedicated their life to bring back Ramalalla. That is Parupakara. So many Vaishnava Acharyas have dedicated their life to bring Krishna in our lives. Srila Prabhupada, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Maharaj, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Rupa Goswami, Six Goswamis, Tukaram Maharaj, several saints, they have worked hard for our benefit. So such should be the mood. That is why Jive Daya. It is not that they are not attached to Ram, they are anyway attached to Ram in their own way, they are attached to Supreme Lord in their own way. But the moment they see the suffering souls, they immediately extend themselves because they have Namaruchi and they have Vaishnava Seva. So this is my second reflection. I am already falling short of time. It's already 1 hour since we began the class. So we have not even gone to the verse number 57, where at least I'll just touch base on one small point. Maybe I may not be able to elaborate and discuss that, where Srila Prabhupada explains the word Maya in the purport very nicely, that anyone who tries to assume, anyone who tries to think that all these things, whatever we have described so far, the glories, they assumes in a very selfish, self-centered manner, then he is doomed. So he says, Prabhupada explains, that anyone who does not understand that all our energy, inspiration, and enthusiasm, and all the glories that we enjoy comes from the Supreme Lord, and we are just his servants. If anybody does not understand that, if anybody thinks that he is equally supreme, he is the enjoyer, he is the beneficiary, he is the one who is supposed to be worshipped, that is the day of his being doomed in his life, even though he got this rarest human form of life. So it is important that one remembers one's identity. Our identity is Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadhas. These Vanaras, they are glorious not because of their fighting spirit. They are glorious not because of their anything, because technically speaking, these Vanaras, they were not skilled. They were only enthusiastic and committed servants. But they won all the skilled military men. They could counteract all the technologies that Ravana had. They could do things which no engineering people could even imagine. Yesterday, Indradhamna Maharaj was mentioning that when they all decided to cross over, because Hanuman came back finding Mother Sita's location, so they all decided to cross over the ocean. So the ocean did not respond to Lord Rama's prayer for 3 days. So it is explained in Skanda Puran that Lord Rama performed that very sincere tapasya so that the ocean personified can be pleased. But even after 3 days, the ocean personified did not respond. So Lord Rama had to take his bow and arrow and try to challenge ocean personified, looking at that ferocious Supreme Lord's form. The ocean personified understood his mistake and bowed down towards Lord Rama and told how they can cross over the ocean. So the ocean personified told that you have an engineer in your army called Nala. You please use his skills. He has a specific engineering skills and he can help you all cross over this. So Nala was installed as a chief engineer for construction of this Ram Setu. And the way they were doing is they were bringing boulders. And every time they were coming and throwing the boulders, obviously the boulder would drown. So they weren't sure what to do. And all they did was somebody in the crowd or somebody what they said that it's only by Ram's mercy we can make this bridge. So they started writing the name of Rama on every stone, every boulder. And as soon as they write it on the stone and threw it on the ocean, the boulder started to float. So every bridge, the entire bridge, the total distance was 800 kilometers. Of course, now the distance is changed and according to so many geographical changes. But those days, the distance between Ram Setu and Sri Lanka was 800 kilometers. I'm not sure if it is nautical kilometer or direct kilometer. I'm not sure. 800 kilometers, and Skanda Puran describes in 5 days the entire Vanara Sena constructed the entire bridge from Ram Setu, from Dhanushkoti till Sri Lanka. They made the bridge in 5 days, and so many Vanaras were participating. So the point I was trying to say is that all the Vanaras, all the people, they were not skilled, but they were enthusiastic devotees, and they were having very high dependency on the glories of Lord Ram. When the opposite army, when Ravana's army was trying to kill using all the sophisticated weapons, all these Vanaras had what? They were uprooted trees, they were taking boulders, stones, but every time when they were through at the opponent, they chanted the name of Lord Ram. So even the so-called toy-like weapons or some funny weapons, which is not even a weapon. Somebody is having an AK-47 gun in front of you and you are throwing a stone at him. Anybody will say that, person with having AK-47 rifle will be more powerful. But history says that Vanaras won, and it is because of them carrying the name of Lord Rama. So my third reflection that I was going to discuss in detail was how when we are understanding our constitutional position as Nitya Dasa, Jivera Swarupa Hoy Krishna and Nitya Das, I'm just a Das. I'm qualitatively one with the Lord, but not in quantity. I'm not supposed to be thinking myself as a controller. That thinking is called Maya. So then we will be our entire existence, our entire advantage of being in human form will be completely compromised. And hence, it is our duty for us to come out of Maya by the help of surrendering to the Vedic literature, performing devotional service, and extending ourselves to the poor souls. That way, we will be saving ourselves also and saving everyone else from Maya and giving a very strong fight against Kali Purusha. We could have said many more things, but I guess we have to stop here. I'll stop here and take up any questions or comments or reflections. Thank you so much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Nitai Gaura Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna. If there are any questions or comments or reflections, we'll be happy to respond.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Thank you so much for such a wonderful class and explaining about the Ram temple opening in Ayodhya and our role, ISKCON role in there, like Sita's kitchen, Rasoi. So it was very great to share, Prabhuji. So, and about Ram Katha also, little bit about. So I have one question, Prabhuji. I don't remember why Lord Ram sent Sita love kush to the other Rishi's ashram. That I don't remember. Can you please explain this little
A
bit?
very interesting story. So Lord Rama was already coronated, and one day he heard one washerwoman's husband talking to his wife. So something happened between the husband and wife. The washerman told his wife that, what do you think, am I like Lord Rama? Am I like Rama, forgiving or tolerating wife being in someone else's house? And, who knows what would have happened? So some sort of accusation. He didn't even say in public. He just said it to his wife. So Lord Ram felt that as a king, as a ruler, as a role model, such an allegation is not good. So he decided to somewhere or other self-punish him, or torture him, or whatever you may say. So he called Lakshmana. He didn't tell Mother Sita. Already Mother Sita was apparently pregnant. So he called Lakshmana and said that for some time my wife cannot be here. I cannot tell this to her. She's just too much in excitement. So make her sit on the chariot. Tell her that you are going to take her around and show the country, and drop her in Valmiki Rishi's ashram. So Lakshmana started to cry and weep, saying that, my dear Lord, why are you giving me such tough services? I am your servant. I am in such a state that I can't negate whatever you are saying. But what service you are giving is completely insane, both as a service and also what did Mother Sita do wrong? I mean, it's just some weird person. Somebody is saying something, why you should react for it? Lord Ram said, I am Maryada Purushottam, and I have to maintain the purpose for which I have appeared here, and I have to establish righteousness to the core. So please do it. And Mother Sita was called in the chariot, and she went with Lakshmana, thinking that Lakshmana was going to show her around. So she had a very happy time seeing sights and moving around. And finally, when they went outskirts, and when they were reaching almost the ashram of Valmiki Rishi, Lakshmana stopped the chariot and got down from the chariot and started to cry. Said, Mother Sita said, why are you crying? So Lakshmana said, my dear mother, I've been asked to drop you off here in Valmiki's ashram. So Mother Sita fainted, and somehow she regained consciousness and started to weep and cry in so much of emotions. She said, I understand now, Lakshmana. There is so much of detailed conversations happened, but the crux was she explained to Lakshmana, and even at that time also, she was not complaining on Lord Ram. She said, my dear Lakshmana, I deserve this. You know why? Because I doubted your character. When Maricha was alluring Lord Rama, when you warned me time and again that I need not get disturbed, you told me that we need not leave the house. I doubted your character. I told you that you have some dirty desires. I doubted your intentions, and this punishment is in due of that. So I think I have to go through this punishment and purification. And Lakshmana cried, and Sita Mata cried, and finally Sita Mata was dropped at Valmiki Rishi's ashram. And of course, rest is the history. Then she gave birth to Lavakusha, and Lavakusha was given Ramayana itself as their childhood stories, and eventually they excelled more than Lord Rama in their intelligence and beauty and valor. So this is some details about why Sita was banished again. Is that okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much for this story and like pastimes you explained. And Prabhuji, I have one question, Prabhuji. Like
Yeah.
Sita Mata, she asked about the skin of deer, right, for her blouse, or so in that time, like how animal killing was there, like how it was, like we can take this, Prabhuji.
The idea is that the animals were killed on two grounds. One is animals were killed as a part of fire sacrifice, and animals were killed as a part of the chivalrousness, because the Raja who are the Kshatriyas, for them, like how today for making medicines they kill rats, they used on monkeys before getting into human trial. So similarly, when the soldiers and the king, for them to prepare themselves, train themselves, they are sent for hunting. They are sent inside the forest for hunting, so that they can try their skills with animals, and also they challenge themselves to fight against difficult circumstances. So those dead animals' skin are made available. So because these rishis, they live in the forests, and there are multiple reasons why they do hunting. One is the kings used to protect the rishis' ashrams, as well as the kings used to go inside the forest to train themselves. In both ways, they have to attack animals, and they used to have access to these animal skins, and this is considered as officially allowed. And sometimes these rishis also perform fire sacrifices, wherein they are trained to transport the soul of the animal to the next higher life species, or even give them liberation, and offer these animal into a fire sacrifice as a test to the mantras. Prabhupada explains in one of the purports in Bhagavatam that how we are testing the medicines sometimes to prove the power of Vedic mantras. To test the power of Vedic mantras, animals are given in sacrifice. So that is how the animal skins were made available. Is that clear?
Okay, yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam, all goes to Sri Prabhupada. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji. Thank you for the kind association, your Nectarian class. And also reflecting upon Lord Rama's character, how the Vanaras character and their mental state of meditation on Rama's service to Rama. I have one question, Prabhu. Why does Lord Ram apparently displays some emotions which may appear that they are in mode of material nature, like crying when separation from Sita? Is it to be taken as separation from a devotee or separation from wife? Because the general public, they take Ram Leela as it is, that do not have an understanding, and that is a devotee also. And so there's confusions come.
It is to be understood that the Lord is full of emotions. He is Rasaraj. Chaitanya Leela, when Jagannath Mishra left this world, it is explained that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, as Nimai and Sachimata, they wept and wept and wept. So if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, you will see at least 15 different episodes in Chaitanya Charitamrita where this crying is explained. In that crying, you can define them in two parts. One crying you will see in Chaitanya Charitamrita or in Shastras, where the devotees are crying out of ecstasy and transcendental separation. Second is separation from the Lord. Second is separation from Vaishnavas, beloved, who have been with them. So when Jagannath Mishra's departure, when Lakshmi Priya, Vishnu Priya's departure, and several such situations, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's crying, and it is not just crying, is weeping. The whole body is getting drenched. So the point is, whenever we see the Lord behaving in such a manner, it is to be understood that the Lord is Rasaraj. He has rasa. He is not a stone-hearted person. The Lord does not mean that he is only always smiling and always ready to be fighting. He also has got his emotion. He feels pained. When you and me are not there with Krishna, he is feeling pain like any other parent who has missed their children, feeling the pain. The Lord feels pained. So when he is pained, he cries. And his cry should not be seen as his so-called, conditioning. Like we in the material world cry only when we are conditioned. Here the Lord is not crying out of his conditioning. The Lord is crying only out of his transcendental love. In fact, the ultimate Siddhanta is, because there is emotion in the spiritual world, we have emotion in the material world also. We need to remember that every aspect that we are having in this material world is a perverted reflection of something that is happening in the spiritual world. Because there is a love there, there is an apparent love which is called lust here. Because there is a greed there, there is an apparent situation of greed here. Because there are emotions and love and affections are there in the spiritual abode, we do have this material world. Of course, it is misdirected. The whole idea is that there's the whole verse of 57's discussion, which I was going to discuss as a part of third reflection in detail, was the same thing. It is that we get to interact with so many sense objects and so many things around us. We have misdirected identity. Instead of identifying them as Krishna's, we identify them as ours. Otherwise, identifying with them is natural, but we need to know whom it is associated with. Technically, they are associated with Krishna. So that way, emotions are natural. The Lord crying can be seen as conditioned, but because we know the whole glories of the Supreme Lord, we need to understand his crying is not out of conditioning, it is out of love. Does that make sense, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji. And then Mother Sita apparently was not happy with Lord Ram's decision to let her enter the fire. So was that how is to be construed?
Even Radharani was not happy with Krishna leaving Vrindavan. Radharani is constantly scolding Krishna. Radharani is abusing, said that you have been abusing Krishna as cheater. And he is trying to, they are giving a transcendental gali. What do you mean? Gali, not in terms of bad words, but, kind of accusations. So, Mother Sita, her allegation was, or her anguish was not about the punishment. Her anguish was that she will miss the Lord's association. She would be, her intention as a dutiful servant, her desire was always to be in the assembly of Lord. Why she went to the forest? She went to the forest because she wanted to be with Rama. Now, when he is going through Agni Pariksha or any other situation, so she is readily accepting them. At the same time, she's feeling sorry because she is going to miss the Lord's association. That's all. So it is very transcendental, and people may debate, argue from a very conditioned frame of mind, which is wrong. So we need to help such people to get corrected their opinion that these acts are not to be seen from a materialistic platform. They have a transcendental reason. And to gain those transcendence, that is why Prabhupada says, we need to read Srimad Bhagavatam from first canto till 9th canto systematically to understand the transcendental position of the Lord to even understand the transcendental emotion of the Lord. Make sense?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, so I think we should stop here unless there are any other questions.
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for the next in class. And one more question, Prabhuji, if you have time. You explained
Yeah,
that
go ahead.
Division has a capacity of aeroplane. He was having to
Yes.
so many people. But Prabhuji, in the today's when we see that the aeroplane was first innovated by Germany, so how can we tell others that this was our it was founded in our India like that? But they say there is no proof, like, but Germany has founded it. So how can you say like that? So how can we deal with these situations?
We only can say that it is not invented, it is reinvented. The idea, the technology was there much before. The idea is this: did Newton invent the gravitational force? No. Newton explained the gravitational force. Gravitational force was there before also. The apple was there, apple fall down from the tree. Even before Newton could recognize this is called gravitational force. He sat in the tree, apple fell down, and it fell on his head. Suddenly he got a reflection and he gave the whole theory of gravitational force. But before he explained the gravitational force was in existence. He only explained them. So many times when we get to, present something, we try to present them as our invention. But we don't understand that they are not invented. They are rearranged, represented. That is why energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, can only be manipulated. Because these all are under the control of the Supreme Lord. If we are just a manipulation, human resources, human intelligence can only manipulate. Suppose, for example, if you go and tell your grandmother or great-grandmother, if you happen to meet them one-on-one, face-to-face, and said, Dadi, malum hai kya? You know what? I spoke sitting in America to someone in India without seeing. She will never believe. She will think that you are, in dream or in some things. But now, when we go back or when we are, we think and say that, yes, there is a technology. That technology was there even then, but the technology was not revealed or not explored, not explained. This technology today we are having is something. What is that is new? They are using the existing resources. This is not that some new component has been given from the different world and been given to us. These resources were there 500 years before also, 200 years before also. It is because of human race constantly operating on these different components. They are keep on working on them. They are able to evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve and evolve. Sometimes dissolve, sometimes evolve, sometimes destroy, sometimes create. But this is only manipulation. So we need to understand that anyone who says they have invented, they have it is not something that is non-existence. They were always existing, just that it was revealed or made available, or somebody took an endeavor to present it. Maybe it was represented. So that is how we need to understand, because we have philosophy, we have history. Those who don't believe them, they anyway won't believe them. So, but we have logical reasoning to make them believe. Like the way your Nani wouldn't have believed that we can sit and talk in two different locations outside the world and even see each other, talk to each other. So similarly, we can extrapolate and say that this technology that we are saying, the nuclear weapon. Today there are nuclear weapons where you can be from thousands of miles away and target a particular person to a particular location. So when we say Brahmastra, what is Brahmastra? Brahmastra is a nuclear weapon. It can target to a particular person to a particular locations. Now we are explaining them using latitude, longitude, geographical position, navigation, aerial route, angle. So many technological terms uses. So even then, those were all existent. In fact, I would say this is some of our, understanding that all the modern science, somewhere, they have found the roots, or they would have had access to the roots from the Eastern tradition. All the modern management lessons, they have roots in the Eastern tradition. They would have stolen or inherited or inspired by or heard, read, or even somebody educated them. Otherwise, it is not possible that somebody out of the world is coming which was not existent. It's not possible. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji. So the point you said that there was a technology, but it was not revealed. So that's why
Yes.
we couldn't.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have published a paper in our company called Goloka Education. We have published a paper called Sanskrit-centric education. Our whole agenda is somewhere or other to go back to the world and represent Eastern way of, say, for example, management. Today, management means Kavi, Stephen Kavi. But Chanakya was the management guru. So why only study Kavi? Why not Chanakya Pandita? Why not so many other people? So medicines, there are so many medicinal science and Ayurveda and so many sciences in our tradition. They are all hidden. So we want to go back and say Sanskrit centric, not Sanskrit as a medium. We want to go back and represent them and make it relevant and relatable and further enhance it. So I guess we have lots of projects to be done to bring back Rama Rajya or Krishna Rajya. But I guess Kali is equally powerful, who will not let it happen. So that's the fight between Vanara Sena and Ravana Sena. That will go on.
Yes, Prabhuji. That government, or maybe we should publish it in large scale so that it can be reached.
Lots. Yes, we should do a lot of such endeavors. Nalanda University, which was burnt by Muslim invaders in India. Nalanda University in India, whatever the extended part of India, the university which was burnt was burning for a very, very long time. I guess they are saying is 1 month or 2 months. That much literatures we had. So what we have with what we have so much of nectar, and these all envious people, they didn't understand, so they could only destroy. They destroyed so much of rich wealth. Had they been available, maybe would have got several medicines, several treatments, several solutions, several technology. But unfortunately, you have to face the effect of Kali.
Yes, Prabhuji. And recently we visited to Abu Dhabi, and there was a palace. And so they were explained there that math was invented in Abu Dhabi, and with the help of Eastern countries like that. So they were written there in the board. So it was so funny to see that, Prabhuji.
It's like our grandchildren come and say that I constructed this house, whilst they are inherited the house. So it's very funny. That is exactly what this verse 57 talks about.
And now the people are visiting Abu Dhabi, and then they see that palace and they said, "Oh, Abu Dhabi invented math like that." So that is the wrong publicity is going on, Prabhuji.
Yes, because we preachers, devotees are busy, sitting in our house and doing our own japa. Please do your japa and go out and preach. We need a lot of preachers. Go out and preach. Show up to the whole world, saying that boys and girls, don't be an illusion. We have a lot more wonder to come and see. Please welcome them. That is why Prabhupada says that our mission is not japa. Our mission is sankirtan. For doing sankirtan, japa is needed. So I'm not demeaning the power of japa. You do japa for being a good soldier. But if you're a soldier, better do a fight, not sit at home and play cards. So the idea is that we need a lot more people to come out in the streets. One of the things that we have to appreciate the Indian current BJP government is how much our politics they may have. They may be doing nasty things also to counteract other evil effects. They have some goal. Look at the way they have been driven towards the goal that they have set themselves. Just this Ram Lalla movement, forget about those 500 years. These current BJP government started this initiative 60, 70 years before or 50 years before. So 50 long years they've been consistently on this agenda, and somewhere or the other, So we need to also think that probably overnight we may not be able to bring in a change, but we can definitely bring in a change if we are determined. So that's the message. Anyway, we have a lot more to learn.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Correct.
So let's
Thank you,
take
Prabhuji, for please accept my humble obeisances all to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. It was wonderful as always to hear you, Prabhuji, with so many examples. And yes, I agree. What you said about the previous examples. One example about Oppenheimer movie, which was recently, very much famous around the globe. Even Oppenheimer, when he invented uh, nuclear energy and the atomic bombs. So he also referred, like in the movie itself, it is shown that he referred to Bhagavad Gita, and then he got that instinct to uh, invent this atomic energy.
I used to tell this, Prabhu, to our students that modern engineers are successful not just because of their intelligence. It is because of our stupidity. So, because many people are stupid and novice, these people are, trying to show something, extraordinary. Those Prabhupada, very, easily says, if you study Srimad Bhagavatam, you know these things are not something new. I mean, wow, oh my gosh, oh wow. All our children say that. There's nothing wow, because there's more wow factors. A person with a little finger can lift a mountain which is 16 kilometer huge, or 800 kilometers wide. So there's much more wow factors for us to see. Just that these modern personalities, they conveniently tag certain things as mythology and snub things off. So I recently conducted a course. I was telling that anyone uses the word mythology, it is an intellectual gali. It is like somebody scolding. So our goal is to kill this word called mythology, because there's nothing called mythology, especially when they are referring to Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, Ramayana, Mahabharata, things like that. They are science, not just science. They are applied science. So the kind of weapons in Ramayana and Mahabharata use, the kind of herbs, the kind of treatment, the kind of technology they had, floating, porous rocks. I mean, today we know what is porous rocks. Porous rocks float, technically. This is engineering. Porous rocks, if you take any porous rock and put it on the water, it'll float. So Nala, made the stones float because he knew there was an engineering called porous rocks. Porous rocks have got an ability to float. Of course, Char Chand kaise lagaya, because they have little Lord Rama's name. So it is not just some sentimental thing. There is an engineering associated with sentiment. That is why Prabhupada says religion without philosophy is speculation, and religion without philosophy is sentiment, and philosophy without religion is mental speculation. So both needed. We need science, which to establish the part of spirituality, and spirituality which needs a part of science. So that is why Prabhupada says, I appreciate United States whenever I come, because a lot of innovations, but there is a missing life about spirituality. So I bridge that gap and take advantage of the science. And the United States and people with technology, they can take advantage of India by taking our spirituality, and we can help each other. Anyway, it's amazing, wonderful. Okay, anything else?
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. So let us pay obeisances to all the Vaishnavas. Vancha kalpataruvasya kripa sindhu evacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Antakoti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai, Namacharya Srimad Das Thakur ki jai, Sri Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, His Grace Ram Giridhari Prabhuji ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. So Prabhuji, you did 2 verses or 1 verses, like you said 57.
I did 57 and 58. So you can continue from 59. I'm sure 57 could have been discussed much more detail, but then we went into Ramayana and
yes.
But that's, so I read 57 and 58 today.
Okay, Hari Bol Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.